Hello, a very warm welcome to this 1.1 session. My name is Els, and for those of you who are new to the session, let me give you a little bit of a background. As several of us at One Point Consulting are meditating on a regular basis, and we find this practice very beneficial. And at some point we started a discussion that why not to share these ideas and practices with a wider audience. And that was in fact the start of the project. What we do is every Friday we invite an experienced meditator and we ask him or her to share their thoughts on a particular topic, but also to guide us into a short meditation. We started the project in 2020, and so far we have had more than 65 speakers, guest speakers, both from the UK as well as from abroad. All these sessions are recorded and they are available on YouTube. And today I'm very pleased to welcome Larest, who joins us from Canada. Eric has been with the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, for more than 35 years as a TV news reporter, both for national news as well as for current affairs. He has also worked as a journalist and a producer for the French CBC News. And some of his documentaries have been acknowledged with prestigious awards, such as the CBC National Television Prize for Best Documentary, that was 2001, and also the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television, and that was in 2007. Now, Eric has been meditating for many years, and he has always maintained a special interest in spirituality. He has produced several videos. One was the 8 postures of the heart. The other one was touching your heart. And that was in the context of the International Yoga Day. Eric is based in Montreal, and he coordinates all the activities of the meditation centers in Canada. So very, very warm welcome to Eric. And the topic for today is spiritual knowledge, inner virtues, and soul power.
Thank you, Al. It's very, very nice to connect and to be with all of you. And in a way, welcome to Montreal in Canada, and happy to share a few thoughts. This is the beauty of our ability now to connect easily without jumping on a plane and flying on the other side of the world. We can just be together in just a little click. And I'm very, happy to share on that topic because it's been really my whole journey in the spiritual life. As you mentioned, I started actually my professional life at the same time as I started my spiritual life. And when I came into a Raja Yoga meditation center in Montreal in the early 80s, I became also a journalist with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And there is a huge difference between a newsroom and a meditation room. And I'm sure you can imagine that in a newsroom and in a meditation room, it's not the same energy at all. And in the beginning, I used to feel there was such a big, difference, like 2 different poles pulling me in complete different directions. And it took me quite a while to figure out that actually to be in a meditation room or in a newsroom could actually be exactly the same thing and serve the same purpose. And I know for many who are very active in their work, busy with projects, with managing their career, the future, providing sometimes for the family, dealing with the realities of day-to-day life, rushing to work sometimes, going through public transportation or traffic jam, getting enough energy to go through the day, do some grocery in the evening, cook sometimes for the family, take care of children, go through the whole thing. and day after day after day, keep going. And of course, we have different motivations, but sometimes we feel that the victim of our lifestyle is our mind, and our mind gets tired, and our mind gets confused sometimes, and our mind gets a little bit tense, and we find ourselves working in a very, kind of a tense rope. And this is where our spiritual journey becomes fascinating, because I'm sure most of you, if you're meditating already, you know how important it is to sustain the body physically during the day so we can just keep going. But how much do we take time to focus on the well-being of the mind? And this is where, for me, I realized that basically, in order to remain healthy in a work environment which is very demanding, there were three areas that were very essential. And the first area for me was the idea of my awareness, my state of mind, my consciousness. And I knew that if I was in a newsroom, but losing the inner perspective, losing touch with my inner light, as I say, or disconnecting from my real purpose, if I started to connect with people as colleagues or performers in a way, I lost my spiritual dimension. And for example, I was always told that in a newsroom, we need to respect one another. And that's, of course, a concept that goes for every corporation and every business environment. And we had to follow, a few seminars sometimes on respect, because people tend to lose respect for one another. But we were not told to love one another. In a spiritual context, we go further than just respecting one another. And in spirituality, you will try to develop a feeling for one another, which is deeper than respect, which is caring, compassionate, kind, and ultimately loving. Of course, no one at work can ask us to be loving. This wouldn't be a prerequisite to be a good journalist and a good employee at the CBC. But on a spiritual level, my attitude towards other people would have to reflect that. So I needed to pay attention to my state of awareness, or what I can call my consciousness. The second aspect, which I find was key in my ability to connect my spiritual life with my professional life, was to pay attention to my attitude. Yes, I want to be a good journalist, a good producer. But if my attitude whilst performing is not matching the expectation that I have in who I want to be as a person, then what I do is in conflict with who I am. And this is not a healthy space to be in, either in a meditation room or in a newsroom. So the second aspect for me was about the question of attitudes, which reflects in, my personality. There could be very stressful moments in a newsroom, and there are, deadlines. They're not called lifeline, they are called deadline. So this is the one where you tend to be quite a little bit tense and feel your life is almost, threatened by this notion of time. And so if my attitude at the time is not right, and if I lose my mind, or I make other people lose their minds, I don't feel good in the evening when I go back home. So the attitude was also a very, very key element in my appreciation of what I was doing and in respect of who I am as a being. And the third aspect was my ability to respond to challenges and obstacles, problems, stressful moments. So I realized that, yes, my state of awareness was important to keep my consciousness focus on the right point, on the one point, which is a very nice word to use. My attitude needed to be, aligned with who I want to be. But I also had to perform, both professionally and spiritually, in a context which is very often challenging. And as we progress, it seems like the challenges always become bigger. And yes, we are told it is like in school, you go to kindergarten school and then to elementary school, secondary school, and university. And of course, each time the exams get more and more difficult. And we accept that because this is the course of the study. But what if life is not just like that? That every time we keep growing in life, challenges are growing with us and becoming bigger sometimes. When we're young, we're innocent. Getting older, we're facing death of people we love, losing jobs, and being aware of how the world is really a challenging place to live in. So these were my 3 areas that I realized I need to find ways to improve my consciousness, keep my attitude aligned with what I want to be, and find ways to navigate through the challenges of life. And that's where I realized that in yoga, which is not a physical posture, but more like a mental posture, I found a huge, really huge resource to help me in those 3 areas. So the first area that I found was the spiritual knowledge, the understanding, the spiritual study. We can call it philosophy, we can call it spiritual knowledge, but ultimately they are just thoughts. They're just ideas, but thoughts that are so powerful that they literally awaken my mind, they awaken my awareness and improve my consciousness. So I feel, in a way enlightened, not too much, because then we become a little bit too cuckoo type people. So we should be paying attention to how much, we should play with the dimmer in our enlightenment. But to have ideas, awarenesses, consciousness, knowledge, that will just change my inner perception of what's really going on around me. It redefines my purpose. It redefines my understanding of what people are doing and what's, the challenges in front of me. So spiritual knowledge is one deep aspect of yoga that we see as the nurturing part of the being. And it's compared to what I eat for the body. We say sometimes, tell me what's on your plate and I'll tell you who you are. So tell me what you eat and I'll tell you who you are. Well, we can say, tell me what you think and I'll tell you who you are. So spiritual knowledge is a resource that I use to improve the quality of how I nurture myself so that my awareness keeps improving, my consciousness is more refined. And if I see clearly, I can move forward clearly. If I move in the dark, then of course I'm stuck to stumble around. And then for the attitude, I discovered that yoga as a mental posture offers what we call the inner values, deep inner values that are core, that are essential, that are actually universal to each and every one of us. And I knew those values before. We can call them qualities, values, virtues. They were told when we were kids, in some different areas: goodness, love, peace, happiness, contentment, patience, tolerance. The list is fairly long, but they remain to me inaccessible. They were just you should. I was told I have to be. Oh, I lost patience. I should be patient. So there was a lot of I should, and it should be that way. But they didn't come from within. They were not suddenly ignited from within, initiated from myself. And I discovered that through higher consciousness, suddenly those values became more accessible. And if my consciousness remains elevated, the value will start to equate, to match the consciousness. So in a consciousness where I see the purpose, then tolerance, patience, courage, these values become suddenly very accessible, and they just arise from within. And really, that was my experience, that after being told so many times, you have to be patient, I suddenly saw myself, or I was surprised to see myself being patient without trying to be patient. I saw myself being more loving without trying to be loving. I saw myself being more compassionate without being told to be compassionate, simply because my awareness was suddenly on a higher frequency. My inner values started to also match that consciousness. So that became my attitude, that my attitude was driven not by my reaction to what happens, but my attitude was driven by the strength of my consciousness calling my inner energy to blossom in myself naturally. Water a plant, and you don't have to tell the plant, please grow, please grow, please grow, go, 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 go. You don't have to say anything. Just water the plant, and if there's sunlight and good soil, it will grow naturally. So inner values grow naturally if they are nurtured with proper consciousness. And then came, all right, that was happening mostly in a meditation room. Is this going to also work in the newsroom? And that's where those, soul power became so relevant, because applying inner values in my work environment, in my day-to-day normal life, I realized that those values have to become so strong that they become my powers. And by power, I don't mean to overrule anything outside of myself, other people or situation. It just means that my capacity to respond becomes my strength to maintain who I am and who I want to be, regardless of what is happening around me. So my kindness, my peace, my patience, my compassion, my love remain even if around me the challenges are really trying to break those inner values. And so the soul power is more the ability to apply my inner values with the strength of my awareness in very specific circumstances. And we call them sometimes spiritual tests. They will come and I will fail, I will fall, I will fail. They will come again and I may fail again. And for me, they translated into meetings where you'll be in a meeting and suddenly it just heats up a little bit. And I find myself, reacting on the basis of impatience or intolerance, or being a little bit, my ego will take over, basically. And then after the meeting, I fall, I feel, okay, I didn't do very well, and I feel bad. I don't feel satisfied, or I will accomplish certain things, but I don't feel good in me after succeeding, or I feel very tired, or I feel exhausted. So these things will keep coming back to me. And I realized they were just a laboratory where I could practice my own spiritual values based on my spiritual awareness. So my ability to overcome situations backed up by a strong attitude and an elevated consciousness would be possible. And I really, really found that over time, this inner power became such a powerful and beautiful way to navigate through waves, to such a point that the big wave that was a threat suddenly became a playground. And when challenges come, sometimes today I feel, oh, that's interesting. That's a new one. Oh, okay. I love to play tennis a lot. And I read a book recently about the inner game. And it was saying that if you're not really a good player, and if you don't really have confidence, when the other person is about to serve, you may have the thought, I hope his serve goes into the net, which is a fair thought to have if your opponent is much better than you are. But the author was suggesting, why don't you have the thought, I hope he's going to do his best serve. So I have the opportunity to return it in a very beautiful and powerful way and win the point. So I like that idea that this is what inner power is all about, is welcoming the challenges, knowing I have the inner power to respond to it in a very proper way that will be aligned with my inner values, but also with my consciousness. So this is why I find that those three dimensions, can create a yoga posture for the mind. And if the mind, and not just the mind, it's really about the heart, and it becomes even my whole body. But if the mind holds on to these three dimensions, it's like the posture of the mind allows me to just remain that like little lotus flower, as we say, beautiful in a strange and stagnant water. So I know we have just a little time to share, but that's what really comes from my personal experience, connecting from meditation room to a newsroom. So wherever you are, whoever you are in your own reality, I really wish, that some of these thoughts can help you to connect and to intertwine your inner world with your outer world in a beautiful way. So let me share with you just a few thoughts to conclude in a meditative mode. And I invite you to, well, hopefully you are already relaxed. And hopefully I didn't put you to sleep. So if you're asleep, then you may want to open your eyes. And if you're already relaxed, it's good. And if I stressed you, then now try to relax you. So just feel that you are taking a deep breath and just taking time to give yourself a chance to blossom internally. You may want to keep your eyes open because these meditations want to be natural. Or if you want to close your eyes at the end of the meditation, try to open them so the connection with my outer world is real. I don't want us to disappear in another world, but I want to just align my inner world with the world around me. So by taking a deep breath, imagine that all the tensions of the body, all the stress accumulated in the muscles is just being released. And as we relax the body, all the tensions just disappear. And the body becomes very quiet. Imagine even the muscles on your face just being so relaxed, on your shoulders, on your back, as if the whole body is giving you permission to go on a journey. And it's my inner self that becomes suddenly very detached from the rest of the world. And I go deep within myself. And I can even imagine on the screen of my mind that I'm walking towards the ocean on a beautiful beach. I can feel the sand, the warmth of the sand. I can hear the waves of the ocean gently caressing the beach. And I walk towards the water. I even see my feet walking into the water, feeling the water, so gentle, so peaceful. This is just a connection with the elements, the water. And as I look right in front of me, I see the vastness of the ocean, unlimited resource of life, and the sky, and the sun, and the beach, and me. And this is the beauty of being connected with the power of nature. And as I feel connected to the ocean, to the sky, to the light, if I look at the surface of the ocean, I suddenly see 3 words appearing. From what I've been hearing from the past few minutes, just 3 words start to appear, dancing on the surface of the water. And I look at those words. I take a moment just to allow those words to become visible. And I see that this is a gift from the ocean, as if the waves of the ocean wanted to bring to me pearls and diamonds from the depth of the ocean. But these are 3 words. And I want to take those words with me, as if I was to extend my hand and grab those words and take them in my heart. And I know these words will be very relevant, very useful. They're gems that I've taken from the ocean. And I want to be those words. So they are not just words on the surface of the water, but they are really key words that will be with me for a while. They will help me to create an awareness so I see things more clearly. There will be words that resonate with the sound of my heart. They will become who I am. They will be my personality. And yes, when the waves get stronger and the wind blows harder and the sun sometimes disappears, I will need those words to face the challenges in front of me so I can have success. I can feel that I'm moving forward, dancing with the waves, playing with life. So I see that beautiful ocean. The words have disappeared. They are in my heart. And yes, I will leave the shore of the ocean. So I turn around and I see my feet walking on the sand again, going back to my beautiful inner world and also my reality. And I enter with those 3 words hidden in my heart and in my mind. So beauty of technology. We can go on a beach in a moment and we can travel the world. So hope you enjoyed the meditation. I encourage all of you to keep, on your own journey, and wish you many, many gems and jewels and diamonds in the connection with your own personal ocean. So thank you very much for the invitation and allowing me to be with all of you today, and really appreciate this moment spent together. So to each one of you, deep and warm greetings of peace and love from here in Montreal.
Thank you, Eric. That was really a very interesting topic and a beautiful meditation commentary. So it was really very, very nice. I've enjoyed it very much. Also thank you to the technical team who is supporting us behind the scenes, and everyone who has been joining us today for this session. Next week, Friday, we have another international speaker, and that's Maria Moreno. And she will be talking about alert and responsible, yet free from worry and stress. So thank you, everyone, and bye-bye.